look back at the game with Tennessee State and ahead to the matchup coming up with Austin Peay. The Skyhawks will play there in Clarksville in a game this Saturday. It's a 4 o'clock kickoff in Clarksville. Not a bad drive, just a couple hours from Martin if you want to make that trip up there. Coach, tell you what, looking back at the stat sheet since the game, one of those stats sheets that, man, you just want that game over again.
Yeah, that's his, it's about his offensive performance and in spots of special teams as we probably had in 8 years. Now, several reasons for that. A lot of it give TSU credit. They've got a good football team, and their defense forces you to make those kind of mistakes. As a matter of fact, I guess we probably had the most yards of anybody's had against them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But those yards are meaningless, and didn't get them when they counted, and they make you make some of those mistakes. I mean, they're very good up front. We couldn't effectively block them, and then that caused some issues, not being able to run the ball on first down, and then you put that on top of 19 penalties for 145 yards, and those are penalties that sometimes when you're blocking good players like that, you get holding calls, okay, and you understand how that happens, right? A guy's bigger and stronger than you in some spots, and he's moving, and you don't have the correct hand placement. But it wasn't holding calls. They were, receiver had a holding call. Our best receiver, best blocking receiver, and Jeremy Butler gets a holding call, and we're offside. So it was a total just fiasco offensively. I don't mind saying that, and that totally goes on my shoulders and the coach's shoulders and the players' shoulders. And so, now I'm very proud of our defense. Yeah, I thought our defense matched their defense. Hold them to that, they gave up one play, gave up the big post, 51-yard play. And we've got to eliminate that, and we talked about that today. And the next thing is this, and they got to give TSU credit for this and their coaching staff. They've had a turnover. They've gotten a takeaway in 22 straight games. Wow. Okay, and that's pretty impressive. I don't know what the streak is in the country, but I read that stat today. And so I challenged our defense. There was a couple times the balls were on the ground. We've got to get those. We had a chance for a pick or two. We got to get those. We had they turned the ball over 0 times in that game. Okay, and we turned the ball over 3 times and got a field goal block for a touchdown and a pick 6 and then a safety.
That's the thing, and for those who didn't see the game and saw the final score, it's one of those you wish you had back because, and you always hear coaches and broadcasters say, well, to win this game, we got to take care of the football and not have a lot of penalties and play smart. And as you said, they had the 7 points off the 20-yard interception return, the 7 points off the 50-yard blocked field goal return, which is, you just don't see that very often.
That's never happened to us, in 8 years. But it was a low kick. Wasn't great protection. They got a little push inside, but the ball was kicked a little low. Jackson's had a really good year, and Jackson Reddick, our kicker, and they got a hand up and bounced right to him. We blocked one.
That's the thing, though. When you see the blocks, but you don't see it going to the other team's hand and then store on the right to him. Yeah, and then we blocked one and it goes through. Right, it went through the upright. Yeah. The little knuckleball, we blocked one and then we blocked, and it went through. That's right. So they're doing a lot of things. TSU's making their breaks happen, and we're doing some good things, but not enough of them, and that's why they're 7-1 right now. Let's talk about some of the other aspects of this game. And again, defensively, as you said, you hold them to 229 total yards. We had 327 offensively. So we did move the ball offensively. We just didn't score a lot of points.
Well, and we moved the ball, but not the way we wanted to, because they're tough to run the football against. They are statistically. You look throughout the year, and we knew that going into it. And we got thrown around a lot at the point of attack. But you can live with 2nd and 9. Okay, you can live with 2nd and 9. It's not not the most perfect world, but you can't live with 1st and 15. Right. Because now you're because of the penalty. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, I'm very frustrated about it. The players should be frustrated about it. But like I told them today, here's the thing. I don't care if you're Jared Neal, if you're Jeremy Butler. You get an unforced penalty like that, you're coming out of the game, and, until I decide to put you back in, you're not going back in. And, we got to treat you like a junior high player, then that's what we're going to do because, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we played hard. We do. We should play hard. We've got a good football team. That's a given that we're going to play hard and play physical every week. I'm not going to pat our players on the back for that, and we shouldn't expect that. We're way past that as a program. But we've got to, we talked at the beginning of this year, why did you beat Chattanooga? Why did you beat Central Arkansas? Because we played discipline. We played with maturity, and we executed. Doesn't mean you got to score 50 points, but that you played on the strength of your football team, which is we're a defensive unit, but we're not giving our defensive unit a chance, to win games. We're getting them in the short fields, and I want to see our defense raise the standards too and get those turnovers. We are last in the league in takeaways.
Yeah.
As good as we are statistically defensively, okay, we're still last in the league in takeaways, and we turn the ball over the most time. Let's face it, we all know this. We're very fortunate to be sitting here at 4-3, still with a chance to have a great season.
And we've talked about that. There have been games when we made mistakes, but we were good enough to win those games.
Well,
we've not seen UT Martin at its, but we've seen it in halves and in quarters.
And that game last year, Chris, kind of was the same thing. It was kind of deja vu a little bit as far as us against TSU. Remember, we're both teams are 7-3. No, actually, they're 8-2 coming in here last year, and we're 7-3. And we played the last game of the year. And if you watch the tape, the game was very similar in the first half. Our defense did a great job, good off in short field. Derek Carr, Quentin Sims, touchdown. Get another short field, Derek Carr, Quentin Sims, touchdown. Then I think there's another, then you're up 14-0. Kind of the same scenario the other night where our defense did a great job. We get some short fields. I mean, Snoop does a great job. Open field tackle, pops the ball out. Last year the ball pops to us. This year we don't get it. Okay, they punt it, flip the field a little bit on us, but we didn't get those two quick scores. And TSU got the quick scores, and then we had to play catch up. And it's been it's never happened. I've never looked up at that scoreboard in 8 years that I could think of as I was racking my brain that we were down 29-7.
Right.
I've never seen that, and so it was a weird feeling to be in our home stadium and be like that.
And to me, it's the what if game, because if we could have it, I thought the game plan going in there obviously was good, and we could have won that game. You take away the penalties, you take away the turnovers, you take away their defensive scores, and it's a different game with any of those aspects changed.
And that's what we talked about today at our team meeting, is that somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose each week, right? You got a 50-50 chance, and those things happen in life, and you can accept losing from the standpoint, if you played your best.
And you just got beat.
And you got beat, okay, and the guy that made one more play than you. But we didn't do that, and that's frustrating, and we sat there today as a team, and we watched every negative thing that happened in that game that we could control.
Yeah.
Whether it be a turnover that we could have got, whether it be a drop pass, a penalty, a botched blocking assignment, and it just was pretty quiet in the room, and but there's a lot of plays we went through, and you want to know why we lost? Let's be honest. Let's take a look at it. Let's take responsibility by it, and it starts with the coaches, it starts with the head coach, the assistant coaches, and it goes to the rest of the football team.
Wow. What's the mood of the team right now?
Well, it was pretty somber today because, when and I don't care if you're, Jeremy Butler's an outstanding player, but when you turn the video on and you got to sit there in front of your teammates and you've got to watch, whether it be a holding call and offsides, and Dylan Davis has got to watch his jumping off sides and there's no play called. I hope your teammates hold you accountable because your coaches do, and there's going to be some other guys that get in there and play unless we get this fixed, and that's the only fair thing to do for your teammates.
And when you have that many penalties, it's almost like there were times when you would take one step forward and take two steps back. And TSU had some penalties, too. Most of them were later in the game, though.
They had 11,
But everything you planned for was supposed to work this way, and the penalties just throw a kink in every bit of it.
We talked about it, and this was probably the most disappointing of all, is that we said, we know there was going to be a little jawing and stuff back and forth. Let's make sure that we don't fall into that trap. Let's make sure we keep our composure, and we get 4 personal fouls.
Right.
And TSU coaches obviously their head coach out-coached me, and their players were smarter than our players, and because
now wait a minute though.
I'm going to give you credit though, because it was brought to my attention that you told the team that don't get caught up in this. You told them before the game. You told them at halftime, don't get caught up in this.
Right.
And if the officials are going to call it, it's the players have to adjust to it on the fly.
But the reality of it is, as a head coach, and you've been doing this a long time too, we're responsible for it, but the players have got to take individual responsibility as well. But it was funny, I broke all those clips down today and showed them to the team. They would push, we would push. They would push, we would push, and then they would flop on the ground like an NBA. And it's really neat now. You watch it on tape, and their players are laughing at our players because they drew the flag of the official. Good savvy for them, and we fell into it. DJ McNeil, Ron Isom, our defense makes a great play. Okay, and Ron Isom takes his helmet off on the field in the celebration. You can't take your helmet. How many times have we told Ron Isom that? And just a very poorly coached and undisciplined football team on Saturday, and I'm disappointed. I'm embarrassed, and I can't wait to get to practice tonight.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk more about the UT Martin football team. Again, Austin Peay will be the opponent on Saturday in Clarksville, and it's a 4 o'clock kickoff when the Skyhawks face the Govs. More coming up.